Last night was the final Republican primary debate of 2023, the final debate before the voting starts. We streamed it live. It was so great to see so many of you. And the incredible thing about last night's debate, that it was simultaneously the best debate and the worst debate. Last night's debate was the best debate in that we saw what I believe to be the true colors of so many of the candidates. Vivek Ramaswamy thinks the voters are really stupid and is now feeding them conspiracy theories that he obviously doesn't believe, brazenly just trying to win. Christie, increasingly indignant about the fact that the electorate he's trying to appeal to has no interest in considering how it might be a bad idea to elect a guy who might spend the rest of his life in prison and is facing 91 criminal charges. It was really an incredible show of what these candidates are really like when they know this is it. And unless Trump dies, they're not going to be the nominees. So let's go through some parts of this. Very little of this really qualifies as debate. It's one-liners arguing conspiracy theories and yelling over each other. That's what it was, but I want to review it with you. There are some interesting moments. Here is Vivek Ramaswamy generating some of the largest applause of the night by pushing the obviously debunked conspiracy theory that January 6th was not just Trumpists getting violent, but rather some kind of inside job. And the crowd goes wild.
Donald Trump attempted to take on. And if you want somebody who's going to speak truth to power, then vote for somebody who's going to speak the truth to you. Why am I the only person on the stage, at least, who can say that January 6th now does look like it was an inside job? That the government lied to us for 20 years about Saudi Arabia's involvement in 9/11. That the Great Replacement theory is not some grand right-wing conspiracy theory, but a basic statement of the Democratic Party's platform.
So look at that, just full on QAnon. I mean, he forgot to mention that the moon landing was fake, or that Paul McCartney died and was replaced with a similar looking left-handed bassist 40 years ago, or 50 years ago. I don't even know when that supposedly was. I'll be honest. I don't think Vivek believes any of this stuff. I don't think he's stupid enough to believe any of this stuff. I think he believes the voters he needs to appeal to are stupid enough to believe this stuff and pushing great replacement and all of these different things. Vivek Ramaswamy also argued that Nikki Haley is too pro-trans. She's not anti-transgender enough. He mentions Dylan Mulvaney and the entire Bud Light situation, and then actually holds up a sign. Vivek wrote a sign about Nikki Haley. What a pathetic display.
We're talking about that trans issue. And Nikki Haley's campaign launch video sounded like a woke Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light ad talking about how she would kick in heels. At the first debate, she said that only
Nikki Haley struggling not to grin at the stupidity of that one, but here it goes off the rails.
a woman can get this job done. That's what she said. After the third debate, when I criticized Ronna McDaniel after 5 failed years of leadership of this party and criticized Nikki for her corrupt foreign dealings as a military contractor, she said that I have a woman problem. Nikki, I don't have a woman problem. You have a corruption problem. And I think that that's what people need to know. Nikki is corrupt.
And now that caught Nikki Haley's attention because she tried not to even look at Vivek the entire debate, and she did a pretty good job. But then all of a sudden, Vivek is holding up a big white legal pad, and that got her attention. And she looks over, and Vivek has written "Nikki equals corrupt" on the on the notepad.
This is a woman who will send your kids to die so she can buy a bigger house. This is the problem. Using identity politics more effectively than Kamala Harris is a form of intellectual fraud, and it actually.
And the crowd doing a lot of booing. His pointed obsession with Nikki Haley was not particularly well received by the crowd, to be perfectly frank. He also pushed this Nikki Haley has $8 million and she bought a bigger house and she's obviously corrupt. You know, it's pretty rich for Vivek Ramaswamy to be talking about corrupt self-enrichment. I mean, listen, the truth is Nikki Haley was worth about $1 million when she left the Trump White House, and now she's worth about $8 million. It's been almost 6 years. She had 2 pretty successful books. She probably made $300,000 to $400,000 from each book. She now gets $50 to $150K per speech. and the stock market has done well. You can argue that all of these people in some way are sort of corruptly or cynically benefiting from a system that's good for them and bad for so many others. But Vivek Ramaswamy is not the guy with however much money he has to point and say Nikki Haley having 8 million, and we know exactly how she has the 8 million, that's the problem. Just totally out of school, and a lot of these attacks falling flat. Christie was not having any of the Vivek stuff last night.
Okay? You say this, you do this at every debate. You go out on the stump and you say something. All of us see it on video. We confront you on the debate stage. You say you didn't say it, and then you back away. And I want to say
exactly what I said, Chris.
I'm not done yet.
Well, this is...
Now, look.
This man is spewing. This man is spewing nonsense.
Let me tell you something. This is the fourth debate that you would be voted in the first 20 minutes as the most obnoxious blowhard in America. So shut up for a little while. I want to say something else. We're now 25 minutes into this debate.
Right.
And he has insulted Nikki Haley's basic intelligence. Not her positions, her basic intelligence. She doesn't know regions. She wouldn't be able to find something on a map.
All right, so here Christie came sort of to the defense of Nikki Haley. Here's the thing, okay? We can say a lot of things about Christie, and we'll talk about Christie specifically later. He's the only guy on the stage not actually there for second place. He's the only guy on the stage not at least loosely auditioning to be Trump's VP, and for that, I respect him. Ron DeSantis couldn't answer a single question directly. 5, 6, 7 yes or no questions. He wouldn't answer a single one of them. And Christie called out Ron DeSantis because he just won't answer simple questions like, is Trump fit to be president?
Isn't he just answering the question? The question was very direct. Is he fit to be president or isn't he? The rest of the speech is interesting, but completely non-responsive. And if we were in a courtroom, they'd strike the answer and say, Governor DeSantis.
No, they
wouldn't.
They would say that
you're a smart
they would
man.
Argue that
No, they would.
No, they wouldn't.
They would
Chris.
strike the answer because you're not answering it.
You
Is he fit?
Like, you
is
have
he
your
fit?
you have
no.
your thing.
Is he fit
you have
or isn't
your
he?
thing.
No, I don't have my thing.
We don't.
He's the thing. Is
we
he
do
fit
not
or
want
isn't
to
he?
do
You're talking about him being 80 years old.
It doesn't mean
Ron,
that somebody
is he
couldn't
fit?
get elected. That's
Ron,
up to the people.
Governor DeSantis, let
is he fit or isn't he?
Governor DeSantis, let him finish.
Ron, is he
I think we have an opportunity to do somebody who is in the prime of their life. We don't have to worry about all this stuff with confidence. We can get it done, and we'll do it.
I'm going to come to you. Finish.
Look, Father Time is undefeated. I don't know how he would score on a test, but I know this. We have an opportunity to nominate someone and elect someone for 2 terms who's going to be spitting nails on day 1 and for 8 years
so
deliver
think he's
big
fit.
result. We should not nominate somebody
he won't answer.
Who's almost 80 years old.
Okay. He's afraid to answer.
No, I'm not.
You have to either you're afraid or you're not listening.
No, it's not.
There's a simple question. Is he fit? Is he fit?
All right, so you get the sense Ron DeSantis just not answering. Is Trump fit to be president or isn't he? The entire debate had a big kind of like pandering to the crazy right wing aspect to it. Here's one example where they brought on this total lunatic, Tom Fitton, who is believed to be one of Trump's unindicted co-conspirators in the entire trying to steal the election thing. And they had him pretend to be an unbiased observer and ask a question. This was insane. Take a look at this. Oh, no. We've got a glitchy video. I'm going to get it back for us. When the videos glitch. Okay, here we go.
National Committee, we've got 2 questions for you about the Justice Department and our election system. Here's Tom Fitton with Judicial Watch. Governor Christie, this one's for you.
President Trump and many of his supporters claim federal law enforcement agencies have abused his civil rights for the last 8 years by, among other things, spying on him and now prosecuting him while having treated Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden with kid gloves. A recent Gallup poll shows that Americans think more highly of the U.S. Postal Service than they do the FBI.
So anyway, it's just a completely ridiculous person to it's almost like having Lara Trump say, hey, we have a question for you from a concerned voter. And then Lara Trump's face pops up. And then lastly, everybody going after Nikki Haley for obvious reasons. She's actually the one who has even a remote chance in hell of challenging Trump in even a single state. and everybody going after her for her donors. And she just fought back and said, you guys are jealous of me. You want the donors I have.
Got off the board. I love Boeing. They build good commercial airplanes. They build airplanes for our Air Force. I am proud of them. They employ a lot of people in South Carolina. But that's why I left the Boeing board. There's nothing to what he's saying. And in terms of these donors that are supporting me, they're just jealous. They wish that they were supporting them. But I'm not going to sit there and deny.
So I think Nikki Haley did a pretty good job of trying to stay above the fray. Everybody was going after her. Christie wasn't really. Chris Christie went after her on policy. DeSantis and Ramaswamy apparently becoming convinced that they need to just attack her relentlessly. I don't think it helped them. Nikki Haley will end up being the second place person, is my prediction in this primary. Let's now talk a little bit about Chris Christie. When I'm working on the show or doing stuff on my computer, staying focused and getting in the zone is super important. It's not always easy. I would try Spotify or YouTube playlists. I'd end up actually more distracted than focused. And then someone told me about Brain FM's focus music, which is actually made by scientists working with musicians specifically to help you focus. I tried it, and it worked really well for me, which is why I asked them to be a sponsor. With Brain FM, I just feel more productive and focused, easier to start on difficult work, easier to stay focused without getting distracted and do that really important deep work that I love to talk about. The team behind Brain FM actually won a National Science Foundation grant related to ADHD. And the app includes a special mode just for ADHD if you need it. They even have amazing sleep sounds that I've started using at night. You can try Brain FM totally free for an entire month. Just go to brain.fm/Pacman. The link is down below.